This podcast contains some magical adult language. Listener discretion is advised. And sorry, Mom.
I'm going to Disney World. I'm going to...
You're Mickey Mouse, you're a rat.
Rat smack! Besides, they're tourists. What do they know?
Welcome to Rat Castle. I am your host, Nathan Hartman. And boy, howdy, what a podcast. What a time. I tell you what, you're all late to the party. We're having such a good time already. No, that's not actually true. We're all maybe slightly tired. I am in the midst of moving, of course. This is my final Florida cast. I will be part of Victoria's Maryland cast very, very soon. But for tonight, one more time in the Sunshine State, I have with me tonight Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, how's it going?
It is going okay. My life is in boxes. With me also, but not in boxes. We wouldn't put these people in boxes. Janine, hello, Janine.
Hello, and for the record, boo!
What, because I'm leaving?
Yes.
Or just in general?
It just needs to be on the record. You know, I've conveyed
That's
this
true.
to you.
I'm happy. I know.
Not a
But-
fan.
And you're never going to move to Maryland because you just got a new great big job. And we're so excited for
Yeah.
you. We're
Yeah.
moving. We're getting jobs. It's like the end of a series.
It really is.
Dave, are you pregnant? Because that's usually how these things end. Series. Are you?
Yeah,
He's got a bit of a. With me,
I've got a food baby.
with me, the ever food pregnant Dave Cobb. Welcome, Dave.
Accurate.
So, yeah, we're moving right along. We got some special news, and it's been quite a week. So, let's just get on with it, people. Okay, so we'll begin in Walt Disney World. As we have done for a while now, we have a little bit of
Fucking fascist!
news. And so, Janine, what's going on with that big old... Wait, it didn't work. Big old...
Fucking fascist!
There we go. My keys got a little sticky there. What's going on? What has happened recently? This is sort of semi-old news. I feel like this came out a day
It
after our
feels
last podcast.
Old, yeah.
Yeah.
The Disney is officially suing the DeSantis administration and the district board. Basically, they waited for the DeSantis board to vote to disband it, and pretty much immediately the second that happened, filed, like, I think it was like within an hour or so.
Yeah.
Like, it was immediate. It was on deck, and they were in
Yeah.
the e-file portal waiting to file. So yeah, it's like a pretty, I mean, nothing is ever slam dunk in law, but it's, from what I understand, there's like 5 prongs where Disney alleges that their rights have been violated. And the general consensus in the legal world is they have a very strong case, primarily due to their star witness, Ron DeSantis, who
Fucking fascist!
Yeah.
published in writing his retaliation plan.
He would have put it in skywriting if someone would have told him it would have helped him get votes. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
he really thought this was going to work for him.
Yeah, and then DeSantis countersued, which like what?
I don't even know what you countersue about. I'm
I
suing you for
don't-
suing me. Is
Yeah, basically, like yeah, I guess. Or I mean, I guess they technically could to be like the to dispute the changes that they made, which were by the books and published in the newspaper and held out in the open to the public that they just slept on.
Yeah, they were just bad at looking at.
Yeah.
Very
I mean,
lazy.
I mean, when you really look at the scale, like look at DeSantis and the Florida as a business versus the business that is Disney, like lawyer wise,
Yeah,
legal
That's
representation wise,
Hilarious.
it is like it is so dumb. Like it is such a puffed up chest maneuver that means absolutely shit to all of the Disney lawyers. who are just going to stomp all over them like a narc at a biker rally. It's going to be just bloodbath.
the thing that you got to remember with this dumb shit is this is not something that they expect to win.
No.
It's something they expect to fundraise off of.
No,
Yeah.
it's a culture
And-
war for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Like,
just
that's
like
what it is.
we took on Disney in the primary, which is not a winning message,
No.
except for like the most deranged, plugged in, terminally online.
It's just crazy. Like
Yeah.
I think what's really frustrating is like, who has ever gone against Disney and won? Show me a case.
Mhm.
Pull it out. Like, where are the archives? Like, that has never happened. And for DeSantis to be going against Disney, like the most, like, you're screaming America, America, America. Disney is the
It's
most
like the
American
most
brand.
Yeah.
Beloved.
Beyond
Yeah.
Coca-Cola. It's like suing Coca-Cola. It's
I can't think of a.
You
like,
you might have a better chance with Coca-Cola over Disney. Like, it just feels so ridiculous. And you're right, Janine. Like, this is literally just for the primaries. Like, it's kind of ridiculous that we're gonna be voting for a president next year. Like, it's crazy.
That is nuts.
And yeah. But for them to be doing this, it's definitely for show. He doesn't expect to win. It's a waste of taxpayers' money.
Unless he's
Like, yeah.
high on his own supply, which he may very
He's
well
on
be,
something.
because he's not. I don't understand. I don't understand it. I'm generally pretty good at like reading the political tea leaves and like seeing the math and like figuring out what the strategy is behind different things. But I really don't get DeSantis's political strategy, which
Well,
is
he's just like suing the woke agenda. Like, that's what this is. Like, he's
but
going
nobody
against
cares
wokeness.
about that. Like only
But people, his fan base does. They think
yeah,
he's doing the
it's
right
just,
thing. Like, this
he
is just playing for them.
I mean, he'll win governor of Florida again if he
Oh,
wants,
yeah.
but he
aren't they term
barely.
limited?
Yeah, I mean, he term limited at some point, but you're right. I think this is his second term, right?
Yeah.
But like, you're not even gonna squelch a primary out of this, like in this field at least. And you'll assuredly this doesn't help you with like a presidential run. It doesn't help you in a presidential run 4 years from now.
If
like,
the Republican Party is struggling with white suburban women,
yeah,
come on. Like that is the Disney demo.
Literally.
What are you doing?
Like,
What are
you're
you
going
doing?
against the McKaylins of the world, and it's not right. It's not, like, don't go against your base. 50% of white women, they went for you, and you're going against their favorite thing. It's like you would go against like Lululemon and Live Laugh Love. Like, how dare
Yeah.
you?
How dare you? Yeah, this is
And,
a
like-
war.
Oh, absolutely
In
dare you.
retaliation for like the most milquetoast delayed statement
Yeah.
that Disney could have possibly made. And so it's just bizarre. It's
You know,
a
This
real-
is
It's
yeah.
only dead cry hate when you go after Live Laugh Love. That's all I gotta say. You can't do that, you know.
You can't
All
go
you get-
after Live Laugh Love. You can't go after the Etsy shops, the water TikTok girls. You can't. Like, you can't do it.
No.
So don't go
I-
against your
I
family.
learned about that this week. Water talk is a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Water
It's
It's so
crazy.
weird.
What is
It's
that?
Yeah.
Water talk. Like, it's essentially a bunch of these like white Southern women who cannot drink straight water. Like, I don't know, maybe because the water is like polluted out there, but like they like will straight up put like
Oh, like
so many
Crystal
different
Light
syrups.
and like I've
Yeah.
seen
not just
that.
Oh,
it's
shit.
so
It-
intense.
That's
like
me.
mocktails.
That's me.
I mean that's what this is. This is Mio in my drink right now. But
but
Yeah,
they're on
it-
another level.
leather level, like they're mixing syrups and they're cutting up fruit and they're giving like recipes for their water, and it's a
Yeah.
thing.
no longer
White-
water at
It's
that
White
not
women
water.
be Sonic driving now? Is that how this works?
Basically, yeah,
Okay.
basically.
All right.
Yeah.
But it's a thing, and they're like the Stanley Cups are. That's how Stanley Cups are going in. Like
Wow.
they have whole collections. There's like a lady who on TikTok has like a whole. Do you remember like the extreme couponing people? And they'd have
Yes.
like their whole garage
Yeah.
filled with like excess of stuff. These women will have like an entire wall dedicated to just their flavors, just the
bizarre.
water flavors.
Everybody
It's
needs
also
a
they-
hobby,
they-
I
they-
guess.
Yeah, and they'll have like a wall of water containers and
Yeah.
and thermoses and like they'll buy and review like 20 of them just
Oh my
and it's like it's a sippy cup, baby.
Crazy. Speaking of journeys of water.
Oh yeah, that's
and-
Ah,
wow.
nicely done.
What a segue.
Yeah.
Janine, I believe you have some water-based news for us.
Yeah. Moana, which, if I remember correctly, means water or ocean.
I don't know.
It's
I'm
one
not-
of those two,
It's the same.
It's the same.
right?
Water is ocean. Ocean
Water is
Ocean.
ocean. That's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
point. Sarah makes a very good point. Water is ocean.
Water is ocean, and
Water
ocean
is
is
ocean.
water. Yeah.
This is end of podcast. We've all learned a lesson. Water is ocean.
Is water ocean or is ocean water?
Ooh, this is
Ooh. This is kind of like that is water wet debate.
Water is
Which is-
not wet.
Water is not wet. The things that water touches is wet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
That's true. Water's
Look at us
never
getting
been wet,
philosophical.
and I feel bad for water. It's never been wet.
Oh, water. Or
I
water.
didn't know water was married to Ben Shapiro.
Oh!
Oh!
Oh! Come for us,
Savage.
Ben.
That
Come for
hurt.
us.
Oh yeah, fuck him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, speaking of Ben Shapiro, tell me about Moana's journey in
no,
water.
don't.
Yeah, don't
to
know.
children's movie stuff.
Yeah.
Moana meet and greet debuts at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So they have Moana is there. She's looking super cute. Classic terrible Disney wig.
Literally.
Why do they not? How can they
What
not
is-
spring for a lace front wig?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can literally get them a good vendor. Like, it's not even that hard
It's
to like
not
find a good wig.
hard. I don't understand it. The scene, it's at like a pavilion like that used to launch boats back when Disney or Animal Kingdom first opened.
This is the
they-
Pocahontas one, right? Is this the
Yeah,
same?
it's where Pocahontas was. They've just got some like banners strung up all over, and they set up a cheesy little backdrop with some plastic palm fronds and some fake sand and some
What's
silk
fake?
plants.
What's fake sand?
These like little mounds off to the side with like a little bit of lava rock in
okay.
it.
I got you.
There's fake sand? Isn't fake sand just sand?
Is
Is
it
it?
actual sand?
I'm looking at it, and it
I
it
can't
actually looks
imagine-
like it is real.
You know what,
Yeah, I
guys?
think it is.
The
I
thing
don't know
know
which is worse.
sand is desert. That's what I know.
Sand is clean dirt. So, like,
Ooh.
yeah.
Interesting.
We're so philosophical,
mean,
you guys.
I mean, I think my favorite part is that you've got the what's the pig's name? You've got him in the background.
Pua?
Yeah, Pua.
And-
he looks super
Yeah,
cute.
Pua.
And there's a Hey Hey
on the
one.
other side, which is my favorite. Hey Hey is my
Hey Hey's the best.
I
Yeah.
love him so much.
We stand a queen.
Whoever
Mhm.
For what it is,
Took-
it's great.
Yeah, it's super cute. It looks like it was thrown together pretty quickly, but that's okay because the real star of the show is Moana, who is super cute.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to last until Giant
Oh,
Water opens.
yeah.
at Epcot, for sure.
You think?
They need to do a Hey Hey that's like Grogu,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
little basket that
Yes.
she holds
Yeah.
or
with
a,
little Hey Hey looking around.
or a Pua like you do a Figment.
Yeah,
Style.
right,
Yeah,
right. She's
that would
holding
be-
him.
or like-
yeah.
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 But
That would be
but
so
why
cute.
Animal Kingdom and not Epcot?
That's the question. That's the question. Why would you not just put I mean, I think the issue with Epcot is literally there's no space right now.
I think that's the issue. They had this empty pavilion, and it looks vaguely Polynesian already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like
vaguely.
ethnic.
You know what
ethnic-
also
ethnic
looks
in
like
Animal
ethnic,
Kingdom.
Yeah,
You know what else looks Polynesian that you could have her meet and greet at? The Polynesian.
the Polynesian. Yeah,
Literally. Literally.
Yeah, but they're not. They can't charge money.
No.
that's true.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
so
don't
yeah.
kid yourself. Anyone who's
That's
getting
true.
pictures of the Polynesian, 98% of those people. Of course, us APers know that you could just walk anywhere and do anything.
Us.
I mean,
Hold
when
on,
I
Nathan,
was a
you're not
poor
a
I'm not an AP
child
anymore, that's true.
living an hour and a half from Disney, and we didn't have APs, my parents' way of taking us to Disney was to go gate crash the hotels and just
Oh,
walk
yeah.
around all the hotels.
Yeah,
so
oh, yeah.
that's a thing too.
Yeah, when we lived there, we used to go to the yacht and beach just to use the pool, and all the time,
Yep.
the time.
It was
Yeah.
Coronado
Never got
Springs
caught.
for us. Yeah.
It's harder. It's harder now, but back
No,
in
it's
20
not.
years ago,
No, it's not.
I
Really?
think it's slightly harder because
Nah.
the gate, but if you just wait for someone to
Just
open a
wait.
gate and time it, it's,
Yeah,
so
right.
it's slightly
Yep.
harder. It's mostly a psychological
Yep.
barrier.
We-
Yeah. I wasn't exactly going to talk about this, but why not? So my last trip to Wilderness Lodge, my favorite resort, I spent some time reading The Rise of Theodore Roosevelt by a Fire, which is exactly the book you're supposed to read when you're at Wilderness Lodge. And then I thought, you know what? Club Level is just right there.
Yes.
Could I just do it? Could I just? And I said, you know what? I will walk towards the door, and if the theme park gods want me to go into Club Level, the door will open. And someone walked right in front of me when I got to the door, and they opened it, and I said, thank you. And then I walked in, and I had some bougie ass stuff at Club Level at Wilderness Lodge
I
for a
didn't
little
even
bit.
know that existed.
It's at the
I
far
didn't even know
top.
there was a club
It's
level.
it's
Yeah, what is that?
Club Level is like you get free food basically and booze.
For who gets it?
Club Level. So you
But what's
pay
club level?
like you pay a buttload of money for a Club Level room, and that
Oh.
Club Level room comes with the accommodation of basically food and beverage anytime you want it.
Sada and I are both like, we have never even heard of this.
Yeah.
That is not our echelon.
I
no,
lucked
it
out
is a
once.
cover B grade.
Well,
Like,
I lucked out once and got to do the Contemporary also has Club Level. I think it's no, it was
is this a Florida thing?
I think it might be exclusively a Florida thing. But anyway, one of them, I can't remember which one I went to, has Club Level because a friend was staying in Club Level. But you go up an elevator and it's a whole level of a floor, and it's pretty impossible. Like there's a desk, like it's hard to get by. Wilderness Lodge is just sort of like at the top, and if the door's open, there's really nothing, there's no checking or anything. So I'm not saying
Wow.
people do that. Chill out. Don't do that. I did it because it was special in my last time. I'm not putting that out into the world. Don't ruin
Yeah,
Club
Rat
Only
Castle
Level.
moral
doesn't endorse.
trespass is your trespass, right, Nathan?
Yeah, I didn't get any booze or anything. I had some trail mix, for Christ's sake. Just calm down.
you just had, bro. If I was in there, I would have got everything. Like you only do it once.
You just look. You want to know the secret of getting anywhere you want? It's very well. Besides being male and white, besides those things, the easiest thing to do is just look tired and bored. And if you're tired and bored, if you look like you don't want to be there, they'll think you're supposed to be there. So I
Yeah.
just looked tired and bored. I was just like long day at the parks, Me and my 5 kids here at Club Level. I don't know.
Me
where
and
they're
my
at.
5 kids that I don't ever spend time with, but the wife made me come all the way over here,
Yeah.
and I'm just
yeah,
tired.
Yeah. And I just think I don't know. I don't trust the pool boy. That's all.
Oh,
I don't trust that pool boy back home. We're gonna have a conversation with Enrique. when we get home.
Enrique.
I don't trust him. What?
Okay.
First, I gotta go with my bros to Vegas. See all that. So you gotta put on a character.
Yeah.
So I wasn't just like stealing food. I was bringing ambiance. Let's put it like that. I was adding to the magic. So anyway,
You were a
what
character
the hell
performer.
were we talking about before we went into this?
Moana,
How do we get
Dynamo
all the
Moana.
meet and greets.
Oh, with
Could be in
Polynesian, and you said you went to the pool,
Polynesian.
and then
Yes.
then I went on Club Level because Disney, don't be mad at me. I just took some mini corn dogs. I'll pay for them if you want me to. Anyway, yes, let's go back to the topic of Moana at Animal Kingdom, which is weird because Animal Kingdom or Epcot's supposed to have an attraction really soon, and I assume she's going to go over there at some point. Right? That's what we're
I
assuming.
don't know. I haven't heard of that being part of the Way of Water.
I mean,
It
but
would
like
make
she
sense
could
for her
pop
to
up
be
there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would make sense if she
Because
just popped
I
up
would
there.
understand that a meet and greet just in Epcot would look very strange. Like it wouldn't really match the vibe. It wouldn't really work.
well, we have
Um,
meet and greets here all the time.
No, yeah, but I
Actually.
feel like for what they did, like the way that it
Oh,
looks.
yeah, like kind of
Yeah.
casual
Yeah,
walkabout.
like
yeah.
it wouldn't really work. But to have her in her pavilion would make the most sense. But
Yes.
Disney's kind of just like anything brown needs to go to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. Can we have a conversation about that real quick? It's probably good to have a conversation about that. I had a big issue several years ago when during I think it was the Arts Festival. They used the African Pavilion, which is of course nothing at Epcot.
It ain't even a pavilion.
No, it's an outpost theoretically. But the only things they were selling there were Tom's shoes and soap. And I was like,
Uh,
oh boy, this feels racist. Boy, does this feel racist. They haven't done it since. I've been very much looking and every time to see if that was the case.
That's
but
crazy.
it was pretty nuts. So I wouldn't put it past them. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. I think I can't fathom why Moana's at Animal Kingdom. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Aesthetically, it makes sense, but logistically, it doesn't.
How does it aesthetically make sense? There's neither
Again, brown.
Polynesian brown.
Ethnic.
The brown part. Janine, will you get a
Yeah,
hold of
the
your
ethnic
Pringles
part.
can? She's making so much noise with her Pringles can.
I'm so sorry.
My gosh. You buy such quality equipment and then can't keep it together. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we agree Pocahontas makes more sense because she's more animal
Animal.
nature, right?
Yeah.
I guess Moana's
Moana's
nature,
nature.
too. That's true.
And she's like
Boy.
save
Yeah,
the
it's-
islands from the blight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just an animal park. It's also about plants
Nature.
and nature.
Yeah. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Conservation.
Like, I feel like Moana fits in at Animal Kingdom better than Epcot, in my opinion.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But-
yeah.
Journey
yeah.
of Water
Journey of
should have
Water.
been at Animal. It should have been
Yeah.
there.
I mean,
Like, it makes sense.
thematically, yes, but as far as like activities, it's more needed at Epcot.
Yeah,
Animal
that's
Kingdom
why
has like a
Def-
designated
definitely.
play area already. Epcot does not.
yeah.
No, Epcot does not have any sort of play area. No, that's very true. Anything called a play has been canceled.
Anything at Epcot.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
this even went through.
I
I was
am
very
too.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you could go see Moana. Give her our love. Tell her the rats say hello and enjoy her confused expression. But don't put it on TikTok. We don't.
Oh,
do that to
one
our
cool.
cast members.
Well,
What?
she was actually on TikTok, but for a good reason.
Okay.
One of the performers actually spoke Samoan, so that was really
Oh,
awesome.
cool.
That's really neat.
So I mean, technically, she's just overarching Polynesian, but to have
Right.
somebody that actually speaks a Polynesian language,
that's really
is
cool.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. That's really cool. I like that. Was that here at Disneyland?
It was there. I think it was that specific meet and greet.
Huh. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Very
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad to
For
hear.
once, they're doing something right.
Yeah. Speaking of the West Coast, though, and things that are not going right, Dave,
Oof.
come on, baby, set my heart on fire. What's going
Oh.
on over there at Disneyland?
Oh, poor Murphy.
Tell us about Murphy and why
Murphy-
Murphy's named Murphy to begin with, because I think that
Murphy.
says a lot.
Does it have
Murphy
anything to
is
do with
the-
the law?
Yeah, Murphy is the loving nickname for the latest iteration of the Phantasmic Dragon that went in 2017, I believe. That was a beautiful animatronic that rises up out of this pit, and its paws come over the edge of the, and it's really, if you haven't seen it, it's beautiful. It's a Garner Holt company made
Oh,
it,
cool.
and it's
That's
a really
cool.
lovely animatronic.
Oh, it's way better than the
Um,
one here on the East Coast.
Well,
Is it
Ye-
even
yeah,
an
I-
animatronic?
yeah, I mean, I have a hot take that I actually preferred the dragon on a stick.
You
and
like the
fake wings
you like
because
the aesthetics of it more.
I like the theatricalness of it.
Sure.
I don't dislike the animatronic. I think it's a beautiful accomplishment, and it
Mhm.
does add to the show. But personal taste level, I always liked the performers, flapping the wings manually and the
Well,
sort of
you're in luck,
Boon Raku-
Dave.
the puppet. Yeah, because that's probably coming back. So they called him Murphy because when he first opened, he had a lot of problems, and sometimes he didn't come out of the pit, and he was very shy, and they had so many issues with it because it is a big deal if you haven't seen that animatronic.
It's
It's massive, and he entirely hides underground. They
Mhm.
dug this huge pit for him.
It's insane.
And he had a lot of issues early on, and so they called him Murphy, lovingly called him Murphy after Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will. And so they've nicknamed him that. And last what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Pretty much,
uh,
yeah. Right after
About
we
2 weeks
taped.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, right after we taped. Murphy went up in flames. As you know, the dragon actually breathes fire in the show. Do you know that the original one, the puppet on a stick one, the way that the flames worked was not a gas fuel. It was you're not going to believe me here, but honest to God, this works. It was a puff of powdered creamer, like you put in your
sure.
coffee.
No, I've set
Oh,
creamer
wow.
on fire. Yeah.
Like it won't set fire. If you have if you have a pile of it, it won't light. But if you aerate it, like dip a straw in it and blow it out and put a lighter in front of it, it'll create a fireball. And it's because there's calcium in it, I guess. Is what
I think it says it's flammable on a creamer. If you look at a creamer container, it'll say it will catch flames.
And so the original literally had air pressure and they would preload the cremora basically, and he would blow it out and had a little spark in front of it. That's how the old one worked. The new one is a modern theme park gas fire.
Sure.
People were saying it was liquid fired. That's not what they use for these. They usually use natural gas for these. They're not going to squirt
something was leaking though, right?
Is that hydraulic fluid?
It was. But it could have been, it was probably again, I don't know anything.
Right.
They haven't really announced what happened. My assumption, it might be hydraulic fluid. It might be just literally melting resin or plastic or whatever.
It was shooting out in a stream and then stopped.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is a liquid propellant. If any nerd out there knows for sure,
it wasn't
I
on
would just assume
fire though.
No.
It was just like a liquid shooting out.
I mean,
I'm
think
watching
that
it right now
probably-
because I haven't watched the video of this.
Oh, okay. Then that would probably be hydraulic fluid then for sure. I will say it was that version of it on fire with the music playing was so metal. Like it was
so sick, huh?
it was
It
so
was.
fucking
she was
metal.
screaming in agony. It was like literally the perfect moment to set the whole goddamn thing on fire. Because wow.
Yeah.
I loved how
I
the
mean,
Mickey
it's-
was just standing there.
Then he went underground. He went,
like,
bye.
like
Bye. I'm out of here. Yeah.
like, oh, I'm getting fired tonight. Like, I just lost my job.
And you know, there's a lot of memes about it. At the bottom of it though, it is really sad when these things happen.
Yeah.
I really feel for the cast and crew. God knows why it happens. These are very complex systems that take a lot, that have a million points of maintenance and check. And it could have been one tiny little thing that wore out. Like it's not a fault of the manufacturer. It's not a fault of the maintenance guys. These things happen. I really feel for the cast, and I'm so glad nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
Because that is a terrifying situation. If you've ever been, I've been on a stage I've been inside a dark ride that had a fire because of welding happening during construction.
Wow.
And it's terrifying. So thank goodness they're pros and they know what to do in those
This
situations.
guy who's got like a commercial handheld fire extinguisher trying to like salvage the stage and keep it from spreading, but he's like directly underneath these piles of embers that are dropping.
I mean, it could have caught the whole island on fire.
Yeah,
in theory,
this is shocking, honestly. Like it really went up in flames.
And it's
like I saw like
every angle. Like there was a shot
like
from
a
every single side.
Yeah, everybody was filming.
You saw the Splash Mountain one, right? You saw this one, right?
Oh, yeah,
on the boat.
Yeah. And they're
So
at the
good
top of the
timing.
boat. And
Oh my
That's
God.
terrifying.
and they're seeing it sort of happen as they're going, but they can't get a good view. There's just smoke. And they're like, what the hell is going on? And then they come off that crest and they're like, she's on fire. And they just like go down.
You know, I
Crazy.
like. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, imagine it's like your first time seeing it, and you're probably thinking it's a part of the show.
Yeah,
like,
part of the
you're like,
show. It
you're
was
probably like,
perfectly
whoa,
timed.
that's kind of sick. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
they
think what
burned-
even
Come to Disney. You know why we're so expensive? We burn an animatronic every night.
There's a
we're
pile
burning
of
shit down.
there's a pile of yeeted dragons in the back.
Pile
so,
of post-fire dragons.
I knew that this thing
Way.
caught on fire. I didn't know it was this bad.
Oh
no,
yeah.
it was
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
it
the
was
whole
bad.
damn
It
thing.
I
was
thought
bad.
that he was gonna maybe like need to be refurbished. I
Well,
don't.
you remember we've had
They can't salvage this.
no. I mean,
No.
West Coast. This
No.
is just a classic example of West Coast copying East Coast because we had on Maleficent parade float who breathes fire,
that's
catch
true.
fire.
I was thinking this was like that.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
kind of put it
Yeah.
out fairly quickly. No, this thing burnt to the ground. So
Yeah, but
Um,
since the West Coast is the best coast, we did it bigger and better.
of course you fucking
we-
did.
it's a viral moment.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
Wow.
true.
But what
You
sucks
guys
even
spent
more
you
is
guys
the
first
fact-
of all spent more money on your Maleficent and then burnt it cooler. So yeah.
Yeah, because we're that cool. We're the West Coast.
Yeah.
But
You know,
what I was gonna say,
the thing that surprised me the most was that they had the show open like less than a week later,
Yeah.
running again. Didn't they?
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's
well,
I mean,
yeah, it was closed for a while. Is it back
well,
open?
not with him,
Oh, of
not
course.
with it, not with Murphy, obviously.
Right.
But just the
No.
cleanup alone, they put him back down in his pit, and they can work on it and pull him out at night. But I think they did the B show, which is just the projection only version of the dragon.
Yeah, which
and,
they have.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Well, they have a B version when he didn't work. So it's really sad when those things happen. That thing was not cheap, and I feel bad. I feel
and
bad.
it's only
for,
been back for a month. Like
yeah,
since
I
the-
know.
it was
Well,
just-
I mean,
it's cursed.
weirdly, like, and Dave can correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I feel like big problems like this happen sometimes after the more human error occurs, or the more finessing something gets, right? Something goes into refurb and they change something and they fix something, but all those things can be loose or whatever, and then there's a whole other like area where you could have problems. I think of like anytime a ride opens for the first time for the public, like it's been so worked on that sometimes it takes a while to work out all those bugs. And it's the same for this kind of stuff too, is like the moment you bring something back from refurb, it doesn't necessarily mean it's perfect. It just means that it has gotten attention, and sometimes attention is not always good. So it can happen. But so
it's sad for the. I'm glad the casting. I'm glad the show didn't go down permanently, because that would have been just detrimental for that cast and crew. But good for Disney for keeping it going, and the show must go on. I feel really bad for Garner Holt. They do such beautiful work. I mean, hopefully they'll be able to rebuild him. I mean, he is one of the most impressive animatronics I've ever seen. If you've never seen the show, I mean, I have quibbles with the redos of the show. There's a lot of things they changed in the current version that I'm not a fan of, but the moment when he comes up in the old show, it was just the head rising up and the wings lit up because they were all sparkly. Right. In the new version, his claws come out of the ground and grip the edge of this stone pit that he crawls out of, and then he rises up. It's so scary and dramatic. It's so good. So I do love him, and he is an impressive moment for an outdoor spectacular like that. And I hope we get him back in some form. Murphy, gone but not forgotten.
R.I.P. But we're going to now go from R.I.P. to WGA, which is not R.I.P. It's very much not going to rest in peace. It's going to strike. The Writers Guild of America, of course, is on strike. And we just wanted to bring this up because this, of course, affects television. If you all remember about, was it 9 years ago, we went through about 100-day strike with the WGA, and that's why the second season of Heroes was terrible. And there was weird issues with Lost.
So many things were terrible.
Yeah. Oh, Quantum of Solace, the James Bond movie, was written by basically Daniel Craig. Lots of reasons.
And it
why
cost
things
the
are terrible.
economy, the California economy, like billions of dollars.
My cat is making noise. Hold on a sec.
She's very cute. I've been watching her.
I know, she's just like going crazy.
I watched her reach over to Nathan's chair and just start digging her claw in a little and like picking at it a little bit.
Katie, can you give Nova some attention?
It's
It's that time of night. And now we have her new thing has been she'll find open surfaces and so
It's
Anyway,
her
all the stuff
playground.
that used to be here. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Forgive me. So yes, anyway,
That's okay.
WGA is on strike, and of course you'll remember that. So a lot of crappy shows happened because of the last writer's strike. And this could affect things like streaming, of course. But we only wanted to bring this up because, of course, we support the Writers Guild of America.
Yes.
100%, 1,000%.
1,000%.
Yes, definitely.
They're not asking for anything that's not unreasonable whatsoever. But I'm sure there are
Without
questions.
them, I would be very depressed.
Yes. And for real. but I'm sure there are questions from people who are asking, how does this affect things like theme parks, and what are theme park writers under the WGA and stuff? And as the industry professional here, Dave, could you just give people a little bit of an idea the difference between theme park writing and WGA stuff, and if there is any interlocking elements or anything that's connecting them, or if there's nothing at all, just so we can clear the air for anyone who's got these kind of questions.
Not really. I mean, I've written for theme parks and live shows and stuff in theme parks and museums and stuff my entire career, and I am not in the WGA, and I will probably never be in the WGA. I had a chance to early on because I had a script that was optioned a couple of times back in the late 90s, early aughts, and nothing came of it, but it would have been my entree too,
sure,
because it was a live action film. No, the simple answer is it doesn't really affect us at all. The amount of writing that goes into theme parks, especially for like big attractions, that's a small percentage of work. It's not insignificant. It's important to the process of creating a big attraction or a new park or a new ride. But the writing part of it is it's often, like in my case, I'm also the creative director and writer. Like Men in Black, I did most of the writing on it. I hired some friends to help out with pre-shows and things. And on a park like WB, I had a couple of writers, but they did other projects as well at Thinkwell. But I wrote 2 of those rides full cloth myself. But they're not guilds, they're not union. The theme park design and production industry by and large is not union. We don't get residuals. I don't get any money for ticket sales for Men in Black anymore. I didn't at the beginning. I didn't then. I don't now. I got paid for the project, and that's it. Right? It is a project-based work for hire industry. So it really doesn't affect us. I mean, but just to use my bully pulpit for a minute. Anybody who thinks that this is, a bunch of rich people crying in their mansions does not really understand the movie industry, because the days of being a living wage writer in Hollywood are long gone. And there is an echelon of people that write big shows and movies, but like, if 20 years ago, you could be in a writer's room for a TV show and live a pretty moderate upper middle class existence here in LA. That doesn't exist anymore. Right. And you're seeing, if you follow the tweets, and I've retweeted a couple of these things and people follow me, like the on the picket lines today was Catherine Fugit. She was the creator of Army Wives, which was a show that was on the air for 7 years. She created and wrote for that show. Apparently it's still in the red, and she never received a cent of profit from
which is
that
bullshit,
show.
by the way. Just so
which
we're
is
clear.
Bullshit, right?
Yeah. That's
just
not
so we're clear. That's bullshit.
It's definitely not in the
County,
red,
right? No.
And how those things happen is, for example, we've seen this because of the Sony links. Thanks, North Korea, I guess.
Yeah.
But companies will pay the marketing side for their services of the same company, but because the money is moving from one bin to another bin, they can call it a loss. And so movies that have made millions and millions of dollars can be quote unquote not making any money, so no one gets residuals for decades because they just keep moving money around.
Right. And just to put it in perspective, the studios made about $5 billion in 2000, and last year they made $28 billion.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's like at
even
least
if you account
one
for
studio CEO who's making like $250 million.
Zaslav at Warner Brothers is making 25 million. Or it's 25.
250 million.
It's 250.
No, it's 250. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
he
makes
my ignorant
quarter of $1 billion.
Just assumed it was
$250 million.
25 because
No, Iger's at like 50.
And putting it in putting in perspective, like what the WGA writers are asking for is for like 10,000 people to share that amount to share about that amount of money. So we're talking about it's the disconnect is ridiculous. And like it's again, they made even if you account for inflation for that 5 billion to 28 billion, it just completely doesn't make sense.
No.
And a lot of it has to do also with this is another thing people don't understand. The idea of residuals and track Nielsen ratings and on a box office
That
in a
needs to
movie.
be completely
all,
revamped.
all of that doesn't happen in streaming because
Yeah.
now that the studios own that data, they don't have to tell anybody. So like a good, for instance, the guy who created The Bear, one of the most critically acclaimed TV series out there right now, went back to driving Uber after the first season and had to borrow money for the
What?
tux. Had to
This
borrow money
is
for
a
the
thing
tux.
that I've been seeing. Like famous actors that you would expect would be millionaires are like broke. I mean, I don't claim to know what Elijah Wood's financials are, but he lived like 2 doors down from my brother at one point, and my brother was not in a high-end area.
Yeah.
Right. But this is like this guy. The reason he was in that financial, who knows what his financial situation was before? Maybe he would just
Sure.
manage his money wrong. That's
Still.
fine. Still, he did not have any audience data, was not shared anything. So he had no leverage when he was negotiating for season 2 on one of the most critically acclaimed shows on the air.
Right.
And that almost every TV creator is saying that now, that the studios own all of the data. They own the Nielsen's. Remember, the Nielsen's were created so that advertisers would know the demographics behind shows, so they would know
Right.
what they would need to pay
There was
for
a third
advertising on
party
broadcast.
Yeah, there's a third party
but
basically
if there's
arbitrary.
no advertiser,
Yeah, they were the arbiter.
Doesn't
they
happen
were-
anymore.
Yeah, there's no need. So
And so if people think that the people creating these shows that are being streamed are making a ton of money, they are not.
This-
And the studios have used the excuse of new technology and entertainment every single time. It happened with VHS, it happened with DVD, it happened with Blu-ray. They were like, oh, this is an untested technology, we don't know if this will be successful. Meanwhile, nobody got residuals on DVDs, nobody got residuals on Blu-rays.
yeah.
So it's and so people there, I've heard people say, oh, those writers, they're holding, those poor people in the rest of the industry are being held up by the writers. No, the WGA holds this power for a reason, and all of the other what didn't happen in the last strike that is happening now, all the other unions are going to the meetings, every single one. The DGA is going. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, they could all
So
strike at the same
this is-
moment because there's a couple that are thinking about it. I mean, it could be a full on. We're just gonna stop.
They definitely need to, because like they're underpaid
Oh,
and
100%.
overworked. Like you have all these new like shows that are coming out. Yeah, they're less in the number of episodes, but these episodes are like movies. They're like
Yep.
almost features. Like they're hours long. They are so amazing. Like you have shows like
There's
Succession, for example.
so much discussion about how we're in the golden age of TV, and the
Yeah.
fact
Right.
that the people who are responsible for creating this golden age are living on poverty wages.
Yeah.
Poverty.
While
And-
culturally there is this backlash against the entire concept of Hollywood, and everyone who works in Hollywood is maligned and treated as like this elitist, and it's like these people are starving artists.
Yeah, well, truly, and the other thing is, it's also changed the amount. Like, it seems that they're producing a lot more now, but they're not really, because it used to be that if you were on a writer's room for a show, you would do between 13 and 22 episodes.
Mhm.
Now they'll do like 5 or 6. Now, originally you would be hired for a TV show and you'd be on it for like 9 months. Right now you're on it for maybe 4 weeks. They
It's a
knock out
gig
all the scripts,
economy
and then-
when they're
and then
union
it's a-
workers, which is crazy.
It's a gig economy. Your average staff writer pay for 9 weeks is about $5K a week now. So $45K gross, and that's not including agent, manager, WGA dues, taxes.
Rent.
You take a
rent in LA.
writer rent, right? Average LA rent is $2,800 a month, right?
And that's a
it could
shitty
be between-
apartment. Like,
and that's a shitty ass apartment.
no parking.
Like this is literally like this is a massive issue, and the studios are controlling their product more than they ever have, and are making more money than they ever have because they control the distribution. This is why movies were deregulated in the first place. This is why the studios don't own the movie theaters anymore, right? That was a
100%.
problem in the early days of movie theaters. That's why they don't anymore. They're not allowed to because of this problem.
yeah.
And
That's
and
a
again,
really interesting point, Dave.
yeah, and we shouldn't go back to the studio system because that has its own myriad of problems. But there is something interesting about the fact that 50 plus years ago, you could be hired and just work at the studio, and you were a writer. And when they said you're going to write a Western, you wrote a Western, and when you're going to write a sci-fi, you're going to write a sci-fi. Like there was a level of 9 to 5 about the job that no longer exists. And
Do you
for
think
many
it's because of
reasons, who knows?
oversaturation of of Hollywood right now? Like everybody wants to come in and, like, not saying that there's anything wrong with following your dreams, but there's a
Right.
lot of transplants in LA.
Well, what's weird
Um,
too is if you're not on television, like
Yeah.
if you're, first of all, it's a weird concept because you have to kind of go to LA if you want to kind of become a writer. But you also, if you become a good enough writer, you can leave LA is basically
Yeah.
how it works,
Yeah.
unless you want to work in television. But even then, it's coming to the point now where with streaming, 8 episodes, you'll come in for a week, you'll do some, meetings, you'll figure it out with the showrunner, and then you'll go off and write. Like it's a weird system. And it's very much based on who you know and when you know it.
Yeah.
And
If you're not
it's
a Nepo baby, you're not making it. Like
it's
that's
certainly
what-
harder. It's certainly harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's so stupid to still say, and as a professor, I get asked this question a lot about how do I get in the industry and and I'm like, you go and you serve coffee and maybe something happens.
And
Like,
yeah, you wish for
honest
the
to
best.
God, that's what if you really want to go down that path, that's the path. I mean, Bill Hader was a production assistant for a couple years. And then he just on a whim kind of got SNL because they needed an impressionist, and now he's making the best television on right now
Yeah.
as a director and writer. So it just depends, and there's no easy answer, but I, at this current state, I would not recommend anybody go and write in Hollywood because it is
It's like telling someone to get into teaching.
yeah, at least teaching in Florida, yeah, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is there's no real way for you to hold your footing right now, and the WGA is sort of working on making that.
All I know is if
reasonable.
Abbott Elementary does not get season 3, because I know they're literally holding it back right now
Right.
because of the WGA. Shout out to Quinta Brunson for going on strike. We
Of
love her.
course, don't cross the
But
line.
yeah, like season 3 of Abbott Elementary needs to happen. So studios, ABC,
they're not
you
going to
better
ruin
pay up.
it. They'll hold off. That's the other interesting thing, is individual studios and companies can create their own deals with the WGA. So the last strike, some shows went back into production much quicker because they said, okay, fine, we'll make this work, and they worked out a deal.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how and when.
Damn it, it's time to rewatch all 23 seasons of Law and Order. It's looking like it.
Well, I'm just sitting here still waiting for my 3rd season of Pushing Daisies. Yeah, that's an old reference for this.
Another show that was
Mhm.
another show that was hurt by the strike. Yeah.
Yep, killed because of it. But we support the writers, and of course, that still doesn't answer the question which we have now, which is why the heck Disney Plus shows, even if there are writers for them, can't seem to find a grip. Disney has canceled recently National Treasure: Edge of History, and I don't care about that. I don't think any of us watched it except Dave. You said you tried 1 episode.
I tried the first couple of episodes. It didn't really grab me. I liked how they were trying to connect it to a through line with the lead character in a very different way than Nick Cage's. Just, he was just bonkers passionate about it. That was the only driving force. This was like, it's an artifact that's related to her family. Like I liked that they tried to make it cultural and interesting. It just didn't grab me. It lacked some of the sort of campy goofiness of the movies, because I think the movies are a hoot. They're not good, but they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're good for what they are.
Which are Nick Cage action movies.
Exactly.
big dumb Nick Cage action movies, and the fact that they made a sequel just was like, what? How did that happen?
You mean the one where he steals the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence with those funky glasses from Ben Franklin that have.
And
a
then they
filters
shoot
on
at
them.
him,
I love it.
and it's the best. Like, that's what you want in a movie.
Yeah. It's great.
When Nick Cage stealing the Declaration.
Anyway. And it's not the first. Like, Disney Plus has been throwing everything at the wall series wise. They did a show based on the Mighty Ducks. They did one on Turner and Hooch. There's shows that in this article you sent me. Oh yeah, they did a Doogie Howser reboot, but there's other shows listed in this article you sent me about it. Big Shot, Mysterious Benedict Society, Diary of a Future President. I have never heard of those. I have
What?
no idea what those are.
Those are all
Yeah.
original. Yeah.
And again, the reason there's all these original shows is because on streaming there's no risk, because they can shoot these things for $5, relatively speaking, compared to a big budget network show, and not have to pay people residuals. And if it doesn't work, they take it off. This
Or
is what they
market it,
learned from
really,
Netflix.
because all they've got
They
to do
don't
is
really
put it
have
on
to
the
market it.
menu and hope people find
Yeah.
it.
But the thing is with these
Yeah.
with this type of strategy is it doesn't I watch a lot of TV. I love TV. But recently it's been like I'm going to wait until there's like at least 3 seasons so that I know that this show is not going to be canceled before I watch
right.
it.
Yeah, I don't
You
watch
know?
anything. I don't even give Netflix a blink anymore until the show's over. Like,
Literally.
Yeah.
yeah.
1899 was a perfect example. Like, I loved Dark, but I am not investing in that show until season 2. And sure enough, after season 1, they canceled it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to watch it.
You know, I will say this, and we'll keep up with Disney Plus, but I have been so impressed with Apple TV Plus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So impressed.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
shockingly so.
They're all bangers.
they're
Like,
all
I
almost
just
every
got on
show.
after you guys were like talking about it. I was like, I need to like start watching all these shows.
It's
They're
crazy.
Yeah.
so good.
Big Door Prize is a lot of fun.
Big Door Prize, Schmigadoon,
Severance.
Ted Lasso, of
Severance
course.
is
Ted Lasso.
crazy.
Severance is my favorite
amazing.
show. Severance is probably my
Severance
favorite
is
show.
So good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
What's that
yeah.
one with Harrison Ford and the guy who plays Marshall?
Oh, Shrinking.
Yeah,
which
I
is
need to
cute.
watch. That's on my list.
Yeah,
It's
very,
cute.
very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all
it's good.
solid. Even when they're sort of like, I don't know, like they're overall still hitting a double. Like
Mhm.
they're all pretty good. For All
Yeah.
Mankind was really great the first season. The second
Oh,
season was
so good.
we started the third and I'm like, oh boy, this is sour.
It's-
I don't know. But
It's better. It's better in the third. It gets way better in the third season.
I would
I
have
agree
to.
with you about season 2.
The end of 2 and the beginning of 3. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
boy, I don't know. I don't know about this.
It was rough. was rough.
But I will say, yeah, I'm just giving a shout out to Apple TV Plus because every time I turn around, they have a new show coming out with Rebecca Ferguson and Tim Robbins called Silo. It looks amazing. Like every day, there's like,
That's based on a really great book series
Yeah.
called Wool. That
Cool.
is a fantastic series of books. And so that one looks amazing.
and if you need to chill out, they have a new Frog and Toad show, Mr. Frog. Based on the
Yeah.
classic
I have a
books.
friend of mine's working on that, and I love those books. I can't wait. They're animated kid stuff. There's one called Stillwater with this big this giant panda bear.
Yeah.
That their kid stuff is great. It's really smart and sweet and gentle, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and we're talking about this because Disney Plus has nothing, except for Marvel and Star Wars, and
Marvel,
really
and Star Wars,
doesn't,
Marvel, and
yeah.
Star Wars.
And do I watch every Marvel and Star Wars? Yeah, I guess at this point I feel
But
like
would you
it's-
watch other things too? If they
Yeah. So that's the
Ah.
kind of the question that we've kind of put here too, right? Is like, what the heck is the deal with Disney Plus's inability to create a show that can hit? It has not had a hit
Disney
beyond
can't create
Marvel.
anything that can hit right now. Like,
Well, Disney has not. This is something Dave and I have talked about in the past. Disney, they've not had a hit
since like Frozen.
an original hit. Yeah, well, non-animated live action original Disney hits are few and far between
Yeah.
until like the 2000s.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean is legitimately probably the only massive original Disney IP hit
Mhm.
that I can think of that's not animated.
That's
John
true,
Carter,
yeah.
anyone?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Oh, I loved that movie though. I would totally
Yeah.
have seen a sequel. It was just mismarketed. It was really good.
I mean,
All those Disney
Rocketeer,
Channel movies were great.
banger.
You
Dick
know,
Tracy,
when we were
Rocketeer.
younger. Yeah.
Dick Tracy, Tron Legacy, got
Yeah.
the short shrift could have been
The
great.
Black Hole, which is weird, but still,
Yeah.
There's,
just-
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
You know what will never disappoint? A good old Real Housewives. So if you have Peacock, like go for it. That's the only thing that'll be there. It's consistent,
Sarah's
it's
here for the
bad,
trash TV.
I love trash TV. It's my favorite.
The trash TV, I have learned I'm not into those shows, but my best friend Brad watches them religiously, and he got me hooked on Below Deck.
Oh my
the one
gosh,
about
Below
the-
Deck is
the-
so It's such a weird
Is there
concept.
always-
It's so good.
Do all gays have one
It's
gay
great.
that watches all trash reality and tells all the other gays about it? Because I feel like I've
I
heard
mean-
this scenario many a time.
Yeah,
Wait, they
I
all
have a
have-
couple of friends. I have a
Oh.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends who are. Sorry, I was we were interrupting each other, so I was letting you go. But I have a couple of friends who are seriously into the trash TV. I mean, like I watch the RuPaul's Drag Race. I
Sure.
watch almost all of them and all the international flavors of it. We subscribe to that Wow TV because it's like $3 a month. It's really
Mhm.
dumb and it's great and it's trashy in its own way and it's fun and creative and queer. But the relationship drama stuff like Housewives, I am not wired for that. But Below Decks, if people don't like those shows, Below Decks you might like because it's
Below
a
Deck's
bunch
a
of
happy
weird
medium.
people.
Yeah.
It's a happy medium. It's like it's a weird world. It's a world you've never seen, which is cruises and high-end yachts, not big cruise ships, but high-end yachts that people can rent and the people that work on board them, and then the weird clients that come on. It's actually surprisingly really compelling.
It's like a weird look into like a whole other world that you would never think would have a reality show. Like it's so strange.
Mixed with the real life a little bit because it's like interpersonal drama of 20 and 30 somethings, right?
Yeah.
It's a little trashy, but it's also a world that you'll probably never see because
Yeah.
it's for super rich people. But
If you want
but not
something
annoying like super rich people on the housewife shows. Those people I just want to slap.
I only watch the Black Housewives shows because those are funny. But like the other ones, like I feel like their drama is like too real, where it's like I don't want to watch your divorce of 15 years falling like apart. Like I really don't want to watch that, but I want to watch a good old shade. You know, like I want to watch a shady moment, and I feel like the Real Housewives of Potomac and Real Housewives of Atlanta definitely deliver on that because I feel like their drama isn't real. Like it doesn't feel very real.
It is.
Yeah.
I will do this as a recommendation from my wife. I watched one episode this morning over breakfast. HBO Max has a show called The Doghouse UK, which is literally just British people going and finding a dog at this beautiful shelter and being connected with a dog.
What?
That's
it's
so
your
cute.
show, Dave. It's your show.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like that was created in a lab just for me. British, first of all. Like every British, like Great British Baking, Pottery Throwdown are like those are like mac and cheese.
Yeah, the
for me. I
Doghouse
just want
UK.
to sit and eat.
It's your show because
Oh my God.
it might work, they might not work, right? There might be a connection, and then if they do take them home, they have a what happens later, and so at the end of the episode, they go back and see if they kept the dog or if the dog came back to the doghouse. So it's very
You don't
gentle.
understand, like dog rescue TikTok and Instagram stories.
Oh, this is gonna kill you. It's gonna be the best thing. in the
I
world for you.
just scroll through those for like an hour before I go to bed, and I cry because
you're
of all
gonna
these
weep
happy, sad
openly.
stories of. Oh my God, this is absolutely made for me. I'm gonna watch them tonight, and I will report back on the many tears that will come out of my face.
Yes, please text me your tears. So yes. With that said, you know what? We spent a lot of time talking about nothing, and I am going to say that we are going to just basically give a very micro review on Peter Pan and Wendy. Did Dave, you watched it, correct?
I watched it. I watched it.
I watched it.
I was going to, and I didn't.
I didn't
Wow, I
either.
watched something that Nathan didn't.
Wow, Janine,
Yeah.
it's
So
it's
surprised when
once in
Janine
a
was tweeting about
lifetime,
it.
same as
Yeah.
it ever
So-
was. So what did you? I love the director. I still have hope to watch it. It's sort of. It seems like it's kind of come out and people have said like it's got some cool stuff and it's sort of maybe a one for them as it were for David Lowery and not a one for him. So thoughts?
I mean, I'm with you. I stand that director pretty hard. I will die on the hill of the fact that he made probably one of the best live action family adventures of the last 20 years with Pete's Dragon.
Right.
If you haven't seen it, it is Iron Giant good. It is E.T. good. It has the same kind of emotional punch. I will die on that hill. It is a brilliant film. And his other films, his weird little art films like Ghost Story are all kind of, and Green Knight, which I love.
Yeah, incredible.
There are things about this movie that reminded me of Green Knight, actually. So my overall take is he swings for the fences with a lot of big ideas of how to retell that story. And the biggest one is that it's told from the POV of a slightly older child, Wendy, not childhood in general. And it's literally she's on the verge of going off to boarding school. So it's all about, am I ready to grow up yet? Not, I don't want to grow up yet.
Mm.
And that's the fundamental change of it. The first 2 acts are a little dark, a little bleak. I'd love to hear Janine's thoughts on that. But I will say the third act is banging and
Cool.
great and worth sticking around for. And then the emotional note at the end of it, which it ends very differently than the other versions of it. You're either going to love it like I did, or you're going to hate it. But I loved it. It's an ending with no easy answers, and a beautiful emotional ending for a story that is fundamentally about the question of what is childhood, what is grown-uphood.
Janine,
What'd you think? What'd you think, Janine?
We loved it.
Yeah.
From the perspective of watching it with a 10-year-old boy, he dug out like this wooden sword that someone gave us and was like flailing it around, nearly knocked our teeth out. It was a blast to watch as a family. We really loved it. I loved the message. I loved all of the characters. I think the casting was phenomenal. I had no idea that was Mia Jovovich's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it now. Now that
Yes,
I picture her
I was
face.
like, she looks so familiar. Who is she? It's Mia Jovovich's daughter, a nepo baby.
She's lovely.
did
Jude
great.
Law is great.
Yes,
Jude
that
Law is
was-
amazing.
I saw like a interview that got promoted to me on Twitter, which I don't usually click, but it was Jude Law talking about Peter Pan and how when his son was a child, he would pretend to be Hook with him all the time. And so his son's grown up now, and he got to like live that moment again. So it was just like a really heartfelt role for him. And it's great. He plays it like it's Shakespeare. Like he plays
He
it
does.
super straight. With like an emotional
he does completely and
gravitas.
And a little scary and a little like
very scary.
This is a dark and frightening movie.
It is,
if you have littles.
Yeah, it's my son's
and it
10.
is kind of
I think there's like in the recent past, I wouldn't feel comfortable with him watching.
It feels like the trick here is in your. I think we've seen several studios do this kind of movie with Pan. Several Peter Pan, and there was one called Pan, and like it's not new because it's public domain, and you can no, it's not public domain. I think J.M. Barrie, all the money goes to the estate, if I remember correctly. That goes to the hospital, the children's hospital. But it's not. I wouldn't say it's hard to get. You can get the rights if you have potential. I think what people's brains with this one has been difficult, it seems, is everyone thinks it's another Disney remake of a Disney classic, and you do have elements of was it John who has the hat, the top hat and the glass? Like they have similar stuff, but it does. Yeah. You know, people are like, "Where's the color?" And it's like, I mean, it looks like
it's
the Green Knight to me.
So,
but I mean,
it looks more like Green Knight.
I guess if you go in realizing you're not going to get the animated movie, you're going to be much happier.
What were your guys' thoughts on Tinkerbell? Like, how did she look in the movie?
I think she looked great. I think she was underutilized.
She was underutilized. I think the effects were only half good. And the third act, they were great, but there's some early shots of her that were a little
agreed.
But but I think the bigger problem is that she's underutilized, and there is a sort of difference. There's less magic in this version, especially in the first 2 acts. That changes in the third act pretty profoundly, and how they use it is really fun. But if you're going and expecting colorful, like even Peter in the first 2 acts is a little dour, right? And he's played by that kid. This is his first movie, but he played with our Royal Shakespeare Company as well. Like he's done Shakespeare.
Oh wow, great. What's wild is he is older than Wendy. But he looks like a baby.
And he doesn't look it.
No, the actor.
He looks like a baby.
The actor looks like a baby.
Wow.
Yeah, he definitely does. And how did they handle? Sorry, Dave, but how did they handle the the whole Native American situation?
Oh, great! Like if you look up what like Cree tribes have said and read like Native American journalism, they are like, wow, she like Disney really took its time to bring dignity to
Tiger Lily.
Tiger Lily. She speaks Cree.
Oh wow!
She speaks Cree in the movie, right? and it because they filmed it in British Columbia, and I
Mm-hmm.
think the actress is from there. I think
Mm.
she's actually from Canada, or from a Cree Nation originally, maybe.
Yeah, her
I think
grandparents speak it, but
that's
she
it.
wasn't
Right,
fluent, but she was able
right.
to like,
That's it.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, my husband is part Cree. Actually, that's the way it goes in Canada. There's certain
Yeah.
communities where
Oh.
everybody has a little bit in there, right?
Yeah.
But or Metis, he's the other tribe there. Anyway, regardless, I thought they actually they handled it really well. They didn't make her like the magical native person who
Yeah.
fixes everything. They didn't lean on cultural tropes. Other than she rode a horse and she spoke the language and had correct dress, like the tribal
Yep.
dress for
Her
her,
and her
and
horse and saddle were and
all
her
correct.
the
Yeah,
structure of her tribe that she lived in.
yeah.
That was apparently very well researched as well.
Cool.
And they made her basically kind of like a big sister figure for the
Yes.
Lost Boys, which was
Oh.
great. So it's not she's part of them and works with them and is friends with them. The other thing is, like, the Lost Boys, there's a really great joke in the beginning because there are girls in the Lost Boys now, and she's like, wait, you're not a boy, and one of them goes, so
Yeah.
and that's it, and
Yeah.
that's literally how they deal with it. And it's a multicultural cast. One of the Lost Boys, I think the actor has Down syndrome.
Yeah. Mhm.
So
Oh.
it was just, they made him look like normal kids, which I
Right.
thought
Yeah.
was really charming.
I will
Um,
say,
but-
from everything I've seen, this doesn't feel like a cash grab. Like, it feels
does
thought
not.
out, and it feels like he did with Pete's Dragon, like there was an effort put in, opposed to Aladdin, and I'd even say Beauty and the Beast, but Aladdin especially, just this
Ooh,
kind
Lord
of
Aladdin. I
Yeah.
just, ugh.
real slapdash.
Yeah.
So when you know you're going to make the money,
Like, yeah,
who
and
cares?
it is a more, and because of that, because of the director, because it's not a cash grab, it is
Yeah.
a little more challenging. It deals with the themes of the book in a very different way,
Cool.
and resolves it in a very different way. And that third act is very exciting, but getting to it is very dark and a little emotional and a little like there's a couple action scenes that are like, whoa, like
Yeah.
what they're doing is very different. But it pays off, and then it pays off with a character change, mainly for Pan and Hook, that you're either going to dig or you're not. It's going to be very polarizing.
Cool.
But I dug it. I thought it was really
loved it.
challenging. I thought it was a kid's version of a Green Knight, basically.
Cool.
Is what he
Wow.
made.
All right, I will make sure to watch it. I want to throw out just a quick review of Star Wars Visions. We're recording this on May 4th, so it just came out today. I've had the opportunity to watch the first 4, which for those who have not had an opportunity to watch any of the Star Wars Vision stuff, Star Wars Visions is basically Disney gives creators of different studios, different animation studios, the opportunity to sort of live in the Star Wars universe and create something in the Star Wars universe. So this time around, there was probably the ones people know are Cartoon Saloon had an opportunity to do one. They did several beautiful, they're from Ireland. They did several beautiful Irish films like The Secret of the Kells.
Oh yeah.
There was the studio, I think it's Studio Mur, who people know with their work for The Legend of Korra, and things of that nature. They've done a lot of Netflix material. So these kind of unique studios. My personal favorite, and of the 4 I watched, my absolute favorite, Aardman Animation also did one, which of course Aardman, known for Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run and Shaun the Sheep and all those excellent stop motion, very, very British, Northern British stop motion films. The first 4 are really, really good. I would say the Aardman one, I Am Your Mother, is very, very cute and fun. And I would say that Cartoon Saloon's Screecher's Reach is probably one of the most harrowing Star Wars things I've ever seen. I mean, it's legitimately it gets to a point where when you know it where it's going, it's actually terrifying. And it literally kind of left my my heart in my stomach at the end, because it's like I don't want to say a tragedy, but what occurs, you realize what has happened and why, and you go, oh my gosh, like, because you have a larger understanding of the universe. So it's great. Also, Sith is the one I watched in the Stars. Both of those were really, really beautiful. and very, very well made by Elguri Studios and Punk Robot. So if you're in the mood for Star Wars, but you're in the mood for like really small snippets, I think like the longest is like 17-20 minutes, the shortest is like 13, and you want unique takes, it's really, really fun. It's a great little thing to live in. It's not
Cool.
canon-y. You don't have to worry about knowing canon. It's just like, do you just want to do some Star Wars? And you're like, okay, that's great, right? There's no like, okay, I needed to watch 8 episodes of Clone Wars before I understood why that mattered. But yeah, so I would recommend that. Star Wars Visions so far, a very excellent season. And now we're going to move on to segments. And
Real quick.
yes,
Real
yes,
quick.
ma'am. Yes,
It
Janine.
is May the 4th day.
Yes.
I have a Star Wars question.
Yes.
It's gonna be a boomer question.
Okay, boomer.
What
Okay,
is
Boomer.
glup shido?
What?
What?
I don't know either.
Fuck. Okay.
That's
Where
not
did you
Alright.
hear that?
It's all over Twitter. Like people are
I-
just like,
It's,
oh, this is
okay.
a glup shido in a bathroom, and
Oh,
It's
this
a
fake Star Wars character?
It's a fake Star Wars character meme. Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah.
Too much of a deep cut.
yeah, yeah,
was-
that's for.
it-
If someone could write into
Yeah.
the Rat Castle box and explain that to
Glup
me,
shido?
what glup shido is.
It was a meme, and it was somebody, I think, on Tumblr back in like 2020 or so. Like somebody posted and they said every time a new Star Wars movie or show comes out, all the fans are like, OMG, Glup Shido is back, crying emoji. So it's just like, because the names are, I mean, come on, the names are patently ridiculous.
Yeah.
And awesome. That's not a
I mean,
criticism. They're ridiculous.
Jazz in
and
Star
that
Wars is
works.
called Jizz. So
Yeah, that's the
Right.
weirdest.
Literally in canon too. That's not fake.
Yeah,
yeah, it's called Jizz.
yeah.
So
I mean,
speaking of
Well,
Jizz,
you
oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a Sploosh Mountain. We have a Sploosh Mountain to talk about tonight in our first segment.
Oh,
Sarah, tell me
Yeah.
why this falls under Sploosh Mountain, please.
You know, I kind of I hate you for giving me this segment this
Yes.
time around.
I kind of
because
thought
this is-
that too.
Because this is just nasty.
better
like
you
it
than
is
me.
it is gross. Okay. So obviously New Jersey, you know,
New Jersey,
New Jersey.
once
Why?
again.
I'm sorry.
Why?
But you know, it's either Florida or New Jersey. It's
Yep.
always one of those.
Yep.
Oh, this
Um,
guy's also been okay. There's also California in the mix too.
Yeah, yeah.
So come get yours.
But we don't claim. We don't claim. We so the headline reads, like, let's just start there because this is a story. A New Jersey man is caught smoking, watching porn, and touching himself on Remy's Ratatouille adventure in Epcot.
Yes.
And this was all last month.
Mhm.
So how it happened, Mr.
this sounds made up. This sounds
It
so
doesn't
like
sound
it's
real.
true, but
It just,
no.
you know, why that ride of all the rides?
Yeah,
You know,
that's a spaceship Earth thing.
you know, I understand the logic. I get it. I
can't-
get it.
Janine,
I get it. But
there-
that screen is
look,
bright.
There are some places where boobs can get squeezed and butts can get and crotches can get, you know, kind of tapped, and those are called the People Mover Tunnel and the beginning of
The
Spaceship Earth. We
Skyliner.
all and the Skyliner. We all understand.
The
Well,
old Sky
Skyliner,
Buckets.
yeah,
Oh,
but Skyliner is
Sky Buckets at Disneyland. The old
Sky
Sky
Buckets
Buckets
at
at Disneyland. The Sky
Disneyland.
Ride. Those were the makeout spot, baby. I
Yeah.
had many experiences in those.
but not in the middle of a children's rat ride.
that's-
This
Yeah.
isn't up front to this podcast, is what this is. This man,
Well,
man
let's
is
be-
practically touching himself in front of us. This is how I feel about it.
I mean, let's be honest. He's an exhibitionist. He already had a racket for sex crimes in California, New Jersey, right? So like,
Yeah.
This is
so-
his pilgrimage.
this is
His
his
magnum
thing.
opus.
this is-
yeah,
he's going
Right.
national, people. So Robert
International. It's the
Fitzpatrick-
French
it's-
pavilion.
That
so,
too. That
yeah.
too. He wanted to try, you know, the French, I guess.
He just
But
thought
Robert,
he thought there's no rules. It's France. You know,
It's-
like, hey, you're
yeah.
French. You guys are cool with this, right?
yeah, they're like into sexy things, you know. the French are sexy. So Robert Fitzpatrick, he's 36 years old, which by 36-year-old, you're grown. You know
You're a
not
grown
to
man.
do
You're
shit
a grown
like
ass
this.
man. Yeah.
You are.
You're a grown ass man.
He was
Ugh.
arrested and charged with a misdemeanor of exposing his sex organs, according to the Circuit Court
How?
of Orange County.
I don't know how that's a misdemeanor.
I don't
That's
know.
what, but
He-
hold on, because that's risky considering the fact that DeSantis is like trying to get the death penalty for these types of crimes. Like, y'all better be careful.
I hate that I'm saying this. The law for that requires you to like physically injure a child.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
But
Yeah.
they're saying it could expand into like other
yeah.
things, so
But
it's
it
possible.
doesn't work
But Sarah-
retroactively, so he had to get it in while he could.
Oh my
But
God.
Sarah, you
And-
are currently burying the lead. Why is this under Sploosh Mountain?
Oh yes. So, and what's crazy is he's a wanted man. This man is wanted.
You
like,
are
in a-
you are still burying the lead.
wait, because we're getting there. We're getting there. I don't want to. You gotta like. You can't just like.
She
go
hates
in.
this.
No.
I hate it. I do.
You can't just go in. That's true.
No,
you can't.
You
Foreplay
gotta
isn't
take your
necessary.
time.
You just can't
gotta-
go in.
Yeah, you gotta
You
play
got
a
a
little
little
bit.
foreplay.
Okay? You
Yeah.
got a little
Yeah,
bit. So,
Yeah.
the cast members were kind of sketched out from the very beginning because he wanted to sit alone in a rat, or a ride car. That's what he called it. He said, "I want to sit alone in a rat." And the cast members were just like, "What the fuck? Like, this is sketch, but okay." And they were just watching him the whole time. So
Right.
he started
Yeah.
he started smoking. He wanted to, to get in the mood. He wanted to calm
That's
down.
the weirdest one.
His order
That's
of
the like,
operations.
yes, the jerking off is bad, but like smoking, it's like
But he
it's
wanted
such
it
a
was the vibe, He just it was
Man,
dark.
I guess.
with one
it's a
hand
moody
and the
Yeah.
other. He's
Yeah.
But he also had his cell phone in the.
Yeah, yeah.
in
How
the-
did he do all
So,
this in
we-
3 minutes? It's a short ride.
I mean, does it really take long? I don't know.
maybe
Well-
maybe each one of those things was a trigger. Maybe he's a guy who fetishizes rats,
France.
and smoking, and France, and public exposure,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and,
And
like you said, this
cooking?
is his magnum, and yeah, cooking.
He didn't. It wasn't just masturbating on a theme park ride. It was also getting. It's. Look, guys. It's like a triple thing. He's masturbating in France, in a restaurant, in a theme park ride. Like that's
And-
triple.
Watching
And
porn.
let's be clear. If people have not read about this, he did to completion in the vehicle.
Yeah.
I know they just renegotiated their wages, but,
Yeah, but
they don't
that's-
get paid enough.
They don't. No one gets paid enough to clean that up in a ride vehicle. Nobody.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about the cleanup. I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
who's gonna do that.
Someone's got to clean it up.
Right.
I would quit that day, bro. Like nothing,
Well,
nothing. Like nothing's
And then
enough.
it was evidently the next day there was another guy who exposed himself at Epcot too. Somebody different.
Yeah.
Like,
And they're like,
Yeah.
dude, you
Pulled
ain't
his
got
pants down.
nothing. This other guy, he did a jizz. Like he went. You're nothing.
But wait, because they stopped the ride twice while he was doing this. And over the loudspeaker, they said that smoking was not permitted. They should have been like, you better stop touching yourself. Like at the same time.
They don't want to get the families
Ladies,
to freak out.
ladies and gentlemen.
That's a nice, subtle way
Ladies
to
and
be like,
gentlemen,
we're
there is no
watching you,
masturbating on the
motherfucker.
ride. No
There is-
masturbating on the ride. Thank you.
There is no masturbating on the ride. Thank you very much.
There's
And bonjour.
I mean, that's also like public service announcement to listeners. If you don't know,
Yeah.
there are cameras. You are never not seen in a
Everywhere.
ride.
Yeah.
There's literally not an inch of track where
Nope.
they don't have a perfect view of your entire body and your face.
Yeah.
So don't think for a minute you're ever alone, even if it's in the dark.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just to conclude this entire story, I will never be getting on Remy's Ratatouille because I don't know which one it was. I don't know which one it was on.
You just got to go up and go, I don't want the Jizz Rat. And
Oh,
they won't give you the Jizz Rat.
They need
Just-
to burn
they
that like
know.
Murphy. Like it needs to be gone. Like
Oh.
I don't even want it no more. Like it needs to be
Just
so
bring on
gone.
bring on your own UV light like CSI.
Oh my
you
god!
know,
I
just-
wonder.
yeah.
I wonder all the
No,
like
it's
if we
it's
did that.
non-porous surface.
Yeah, it's-
I like the
incredible.
idea. I like the idea
because people
though.
throw up in that thing too.
Yeah.
That's
so,
true.
You know.
That's true. And frankly, it's probably not the first thing that's had jizz in it
No.
been on.
In the park, no, certainly not the hotels.
No.
I feel like everything has jizz in it in the parks.
Everything.
Yeah,
Like it
Maybe
just,
Every
maybe the
headboard.
magic. Maybe that's the magic.
every
magic
headboard
of
in every
life.
hotel room.
Yeah.
Just assume that. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the way to go through life. Assume every headboard. Assume it.
Yeah.
I'm
Just-
disgusted. But I think this is the worst one that I've heard. Like I can't believe that this has actually happened in a theme park. It just feels like a whole saga.
It's a whole saga.
Everything in the world is escalating. We're on the precipice of collapse. He's just doing what all of us would do at the last minute when the bombs fall.
The bombs
Um,
fall. What are you gonna do? I'm
was
gonna
just
jizz in a
missing-
rat.
Yeah, he was just
Okay,
missing
so-
a wine glass, like
I
he
just
had his whole routine.
Want to know,
Mm.
like, this guy's like roughly my age.
Right.
I'm just like, someone out there knows who this guy is. He's on social media. They went to high school with him. I want to interview literally anyone who's like tangentially aware.
Hell,
of
I'll
him and
interview
be
the
like,
guy. I don't care. I want to know why he did it.
Right? Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get anything out of him. I want to hear like the
Well,
third
you can
party.
get some
We'll get
stuff out of him.
We'll get something out of him.
we're a rat castle. So
Yeah. We just gotta say
He-
bonjour, and then it's over.
Yeah.
he's easy to please, I guess.
Boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
But
All
moving
right.
on, because this is
Moving on.
nasty.
Technically, that's a French song too. Please don't jizz to our segment themes. Okay. Beware our guest. We have two this week. Sarah,
Yeah.
we got some basic bitches we got to talk about.
So basic. And once again, it's in the France. I'm so sorry,
Things
France.
are
I don't-
naughty in the France pavilion recently.
They really are. Y'all are going through it.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to have, strikes like how they have in their country in France, in the France pavilion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a group of guests there was a TikTok that was going around of a couple of guests literally. So if you ever go to the France pavilion, there's that beautiful fountain that you
Mhm.
see right in front of you. So gorgeous. And I get it, Florida's hot. It's humid, it's gross sometimes, and you just wanna cool off.
You know what else is
But-
gross? that water in the fountain.
Oh yes, but you do not step into a fountain and lounge in it like it is a pool. You don't do that. But these guests decided to do that, and they look like they're a group, like they're all there together. Two of them
Right.
were fully laying down. It was like a man and a woman fully in there, just
I think that's important to say here.
without shoes.
We're not talking putting your feet in the water. We're talking full submersion, hot tub style for two of these people.
No, yeah. If you didn't see the fountains, like you would think it was a pool. If you didn't know
Yeah.
what you were looking at, you would think that this is a pool. And then there was a couple people that were just like standing in it. And the guy had a drink in his hand, hands above like the water, like he was soaking,
Yeah.
like he was having a good time. And I'm not really sure what happened to them after
These
this.
people look too old for this shit.
They
Yeah.
are, they're college kids doing
College
this for the
cheerleading.
lulz.
They look
Cheerleader- the
older than
cheerleading
The
competition.
people in the fountain look
Yeah.
like 45 to me.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
college life nowadays, I guess.
that'll do it. Cheerleading competition was going on. These are cheerleaders.
I think they're parents of the cheerleaders.
maybe.
That's what, because they don't
Really?
look like, because the cheerleading competitions, they're all young people, like they're all kids
These
for the
people
most
look
part.
Now, these-
old.
These are college.
Those two guys look like college students to me.
Yeah.
in the
You're
thing?
just
Those are two
Sarah.
Yeah.
guys.
They
I
don't
thought that
look
was a woman.
old. You're just young.
Yeah. No, they look like college bros to
Yes.
me who are like, I got an idea. Let's do this for the lulls and have a
Mhm.
drink. And nobody's done this
Yeah,
before.
they're so stupid. And Disney had to
You're
end
a-
up adding a courtesy section to their page, like to the internet, where they basically were saying, be the magic you want to see in the world. You must always remember to treat others with respect, kindness, and compassion. Those who cannot live up to this simple wish may be asked to leave the Walt Disney Resort.
Right.
They need to start kicking y'all out. Because where is the decorum? Where's the respect?
Yeah.
Where are the manners? Did your parents not teach you better? Because I
Well,
will be damned
no.
before I get into a freaking water fountain.
As we've all said, and we've said this 1,000 times on this podcast, it's because of the culture of drinking that's now at Epcot. This didn't happen when Epcot opened.
100%.
This was not.
Yeah.
No one was
I-
getting blitzed and going and seeing the universe of energy. Like this was not a thing, right? But now it's a confluence of nonsense.
Would you say it is the drinking, or is it
Oh,
more
100%.
so just like I want to go viral?
No, it's 100% the drinking starts the desire to then go viral. Like
Mm.
it's there are certainly people that have taken photos for viral purposes. I think of the lady with the like was it the sparkler or whatever?
Yeah.
And, like sure, whatever. But like this kind of nonsense, or like when people jump onto like topiaries and stuff to get photos, this is all because they're super drunk. Like you got to be at Epcot quite a bit. Janine and I can attest to this. The more you're at Epcot, the more you realize how hammered so many of the people are. Like there is just a lot of excessive drinking, especially as the night goes on. So
Yeah.
it's not surprising to me this happened at all, but it's still gross. Let's keep moving on here. Sarah, we got one more. I guess if you don't like what's going on, just lay on the ground and have a fit, right?
Yeah, this is dramatic. It is so dramatic. So this guest was banned from Shanghai Disneyland, which is crazy that you want to go against the rules in China, but go for it.
Yeah. Fun.
Not
Fun
smart.
idea.
Good luck.
Not smart.
Yeah,
He's
no,
in a
not at all.
gulag somewhere right now.
He's never seen the light of day after this.
No.
So he got banned for smoking in the park, confronting the police, and forcing the parade to be canceled because he was laying down on the floor. Like, let's be,
Wow.
grown
Yeah.
adults. If like I think the smoking in the parks has recently gotten worse. For sure. Even in the US parks. Like Disneyland, because Disney overall it's no smoking. You can't
Right.
smoke anywhere. There are
Yeah.
no designated areas.
Yeah.
And with the rise of
there are in Shanghai. But
there
he
are
wasn't
there are
not
in
there.
Shanghai, but he was not smoking in one of those designated areas.
No.
So
Did we lose her?
sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
she muted.
Somebody started like calling. But anyways, of course. So this guest essentially was smoking inside the park, and they weren't smoking in a designated area, and the guest began screaming back for being confronted, and he demanded an apology from the cast member, who was in tears, as if the cast member wrote the rules.
Right.
Like, so stupid. But the guest was just being very belligerent and continued to smoke, which caused the police to get involved. And he essentially decided to literally collapse on the ground in front of the parade route, like where the parade route is, and they could not continue, like they could not have that parade for the day because of his disruption.
It warms my heart to know that guests are shitty everywhere now. Like it's
Yeah.
nice. It doesn't. It's kind
Especially
of
in the Asian parks, like
yeah. So
that's
long
rare.
they were being good. I feel like Shanghai has always had a bit of a reputation, though. I remember hearing stories of like kids taking a shit
I was just thinking
in the
that.
bushes at Shanghai. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shanghai's
Yeah.
had some weird stuff happen.
Remember they
Um,
found that person, like they found that person's body
At
that had apparently
Universal?
been like
Japan? The
yeah.
skeleton? Yeah.
that's
Weird.
like there's weird shit going on.
So anyway, it's a small world after all, as we all know. But you know what's not small? This big old, I am moving, and there's a lot of things in boxes, but I had to keep out the good old Astuter computer for our Astuter computer poem of the week.
That's why I'm a router for me computer. Everybody needs a friend.
Oh, Astuter computer. It's so big. It's like if you've ever seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, it's that size computer. Big old room computer. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to get another U-Haul for Astuter. But Astuter, could you please write me a poem about this week's news? Let's see here. What do we got? Let's see. In the world of Disney, magic reigns supreme, but recent news has caught quite the scene. A lawsuit filed against the governor's decree, and a dragon's fiery fate for all to see. Walt Disney World stands firm in their fight against Governor DeSantis and his might. Their policies clash, their views divide, a legal battle now in full stride. But amidst the chaos, a dragon takes flight in Disneyland's phantasmic to our delight. Maleficent's form fearsome and grand, until fire consumes her onlookers stand. And in Epcot a man's lewd display, smoking and touching in a public way. Disney's family-friendly reputation at stake, as guests and staff try to escape. 3 stories linked by a common thread of Disney's struggles and the woes they dread. But through it all, the magic still shines as Disney continues to enchant and entwine. Thank you, Astuder. Always with the positive. We appreciate
I
it.
want to know, does a Studer always do AABB?
Let's say that yes. I think that's accurate. I think maybe I shall ask a Studer who wants to write a haiku for us. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say have him do a haiku. That would
Yeah.
be so good.
Or,
We'll
or
see.
what are those, like an acrostic poem?
Ooh, we're getting
Acrostics, yeah.
fancy.
Ooh,
I
But
might have
wait,
to. I
quick
have
side
these.
note.
Yes.
sonnet.
Hold on, like Janine just sent the picture of the guy who was the New Jersey man,
Mm-hmm.
Robert Fitzpatrick. Did y'all see this? He really
No.
looks like he did it.
That's why I
He
sent
look-
it. I was like, yep, that looks like someone who would do that.
He looks high. Like,
Yeah,
what
he-
is this?
There,
Yeah.
maybe there's like a disability involved. I wonder if his PD is gonna like have him evaluated for competency.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay,
y'all
that was
had to
it.
bring.
Sorry.
A Studer was bringing us up, and you had to bring us
I'm
back
sorry.
down. You had to bring up Brat Jizz one last time here at the end of the
I'm
podcast.
sorry. It's just wow.
tell
Okay.
you.
Anyways.
Anyway. Well, with that is this episode of Rat Castle. I would say though, if you are interested in hearing some more thoughts from myself and Victoria, who wasn't able to join us tonight, we were both asked to be part of an article for Rolling Stone about Disney culture and Ron DeSantis, and you can look that up. Oh, I'm forgetting the name of it all of a sudden. Let's see here. Rolling Stone is probably under a paywall at this point. But the article's name was Ron DeSantis Fucked with the Wrong Fandom is the name of the article. A great title that I can send my mom for sure. But yeah, I think it's under a paywall now. It was free for a while. But anyway, I am quoted, and so is Victoria. So, you know, we put
It's a
some
great
love.
article.
Thank you. We put some love out to the Rat Castle podcast, but they didn't put that portion in. So, but you can, if you would like, tell the world about us. You can, of course, tell your friends and leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts. We'd appreciate that. And this, of course, is all produced by yours truly, Nathan Hartman. And thank you all for joining us, the panel this week. We appreciate you all being here. And yeah, leave questions, buy merch, do all that business at bit.ly/ratcastle. Now grab your belongings, don't jizz in this vehicle, and exit to the left.
Will you stop this foolishness?
What foolishness would you like to see?
Will you get out of here?